Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's session. So, all glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. First of all, thank you very much for joining today's Secrets of Gita Reveal session. In today's busy life, giving a commitment for something spiritual is not small. It means somewhere inside we are all searching for something deeper than routine life. So, let me start by making everyone comfortable. So, you don't need to know Sanskrit and you don't need to be a devotee. You don't need to be agreeing with everything immediately. So, Bhagavad Gita does not begin with blind belief, it begins with honest confusion. So in fact, if someone tells me my life is perfect, no stress, no confusion, no fear, everything is clear, then Bhagavad Gita is probably not required for that person. So, but for rest of the humanity, Bhagavad Gita is extremely relevant. So before we go further, I would like to take just a few minutes to introduce a very important personality without whom today's session would not even be possible. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So many people ask why ISKCON, why follow Srila Prabhupada. So let me tell you about Srila Prabhupada. In fact, at the age of 69, when most people think of retirement, Srila Prabhupada boarded a cargo ship and he traveled alone to the west. He traveled to the US and he had no money. His health was also not favorable, and he also do not have any guarantee for success because his Guru Maharaj told him to go to west and preach from there, because he tried here in India and nobody is following. So his Guru Maharaj told him that you have to go to west and preach from there so that our people will follow. So that's when he tried. He didn't have money, so he had to request the person for manager from a cargo ship, and he traveled alone to the west. So what did he have? He didn't have money. He didn't. He was not very healthy, and he was not sure of any success. But what did he have? He had complete faith in Krishna and absolute faith in the words of Bhagavad Gita. So, what makes Srila Prabhupada very special is this. He did not try to impress people with new ideas. He did not modify Krishna's message to make it more popular. In today's world, sadhus, sometimes they wanted to please the audience, they changed the philosophy also. But Prabhupada did not do that. So, he did not say, according to my opinion, this is that, this is this, etc. So, he was just following what Krishna has told in Bhagavad Gita. So he simply said, Krishna has spoken, let us hear him as he told. So without any interpretations, without any modifications. So Srila Prabhupada strongly felt that Bhagavad Gita does not belong to any one religion, any one country, or any certain age group. So he taught that it is a practical guide for everyday life. So it is meant for students, professionals, parents, elders, everybody, for anyone who is sincerely trying to understand life. Because of his purity and compassion, today Bhagavad Gita is read and practiced in almost every part of the world, in homes, universities, corporate circles, and spiritual communities across the world, not only in India. So that is his achievement. So when we say we are studying Bhagavad Gita as it is, what we really mean is that we are trying to hear Krishna's message through the transparent medium of Srila Prabhupada, without any modifications. So, and for that we remain deeply grateful for Srila Prabhupada. So before beginning any important activity, we usually take blessings from elders, right? Let us also take blessings by chanting some prayers. So let me share my screen. So how many of you are new to Bhagavad Gita? So all of you have idea about Bhagavad Gita before itself. So you can unmute and let us know. So you're hearing for the first time, or you had an idea about Bhagavad Gita. Anyone would like to let me know if you are new or you already have an idea? You all can hear me, right? Well, the audio is fine.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, got it. So we will start with prayers, and then we will continue what is that we are going to discuss today. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्. So I don't have it English version, so I put it. So I'll translate it for tomorrow. So we will get started for today's session. So this is our agenda for today's session. So we will be talking about branches of knowledge and how Gita is our best user manual and how does the Gita get that position and Gita revealed in what scenario and five main topics of the Gita. So in further sessions also we will be talking about those five main topics, but we will discuss briefly about five main topics today. And what does Gita deal with and what it does not deal with. So we will also discuss that and how to apply the teachings of the Gita and take advantage. So this also we will discuss and misconceptions and how this has been spread. So this also we'll discuss and we will end with Q&A. So we will start with the knowledge. So we all know Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Sri Krishna, right? But who was the listener? Who was Krishna actually speaking to? Anybody can tell? So you can unmute. Mahesh Prabhu, you want to unmute? You already have unmuted. You want to tell who was the listener? Who was Krishna actually speaking Bhagavad Gita to?
Arjun Mataji.
Arjuna. Yeah, excellent. I think we all know about it. So Bhagavad Gita was spoken to a family man. So Arjun is not a sage, right? This was spoken to a family man. He's a professional warrior, and he's also standing in the middle of the war. So he is performing his duty of war, and he's standing in the middle of the war, and he was confused. So Arjuna was confused and overwhelmed, and so he's full of sorrow and things like that. Then Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita was not spoken to sages sitting in the Himalayas. So Himalaya, when you talk about a sage sitting in the Himalayas, they have already given up the family life, right? But Arjuna is not like that. So it was spoken to Arjuna, who is a family man, a warrior, a leader, someone with serious responsibilities to take care of materially also. So let us be honest. Most of us here are not sitting in forest either, right? We are sitting with jobs, families, EMIs, deadlines, and responsibilities, right? So it is relevant for us also. It is not taught to the sages. It is taught to the family people who are in the midst of material responsibilities. So we are also belonging to the same category. The Bhagavad Gita is also relevant for us. So some people may say, I will read Bhagavad Gita only after retirement. But by the time retirement comes, we may need another Gita to understand the first one, because by that time we will not be able to understand. We will be tired, and our senses will not be working well, etc. Right? So Krishna also did not want Arjuna. He did not ask Arjuna to wait for retirement. He spoke Bhagavad Gita right in the middle of the war, right when life was most demanding for Arjuna. So it is for everybody, is what we can understand from this. So Bhagavad Gita is not a book for later. It's a life's manual, and it is meant for all human beings at every stage of life. So not only for old people, it is also for every stage of life, every age, everybody can read Bhagavad Gita. So let me explain this with a very simple example. Whenever we buy something important, a mobile phone, a car, or even a washing machine for that matter, so it always comes with a manual, right? So why does it come with a manual? Can anyone answer that? Why it comes with a manual? So you're so quiet. All of you are so very quiet. You can unmute yourself and tell what you think. Okay, because the person who created the product knows how to use that product, right? So how it is meant to be used. So now imagine buying a brand new phone and saying, "I don't need the manual. I'll figure out myself." And some things, if you do that, some things may work, some things may not work. You may not be able to understand all the features, and you may end up misusing the features, and some settings will be wrong. And over time, the phone may not perform the way it should work. So not because the phone is faulty, but because the user does not know how to use it properly. So now let's apply the same idea to life. This human body is far more complex than any machine. Like we talked about mobile phone, car, and washing machine, etc., which comes, a manual comes with them. But human body is far more complex than all those machines. So the mind is even more complicated. I think we all experience, right? The mind is very much complicated. So at most of us are living life without a manual. So because we don't have a manual, we always do trial and error. So we learn only after making mistakes. But Bhagavad Gita is that life's manual, because it is spoken by Krishna, the creator of life itself. So just like manufacturer gives a manual for a product, Krishna gives guidance for how human life is meant to be lived. So Bhagavad Gita does not teach us to escape from life. It teaches us how to live life properly, how to work without stress, and how to handle success as well as failure also, and how to remain balanced in changing situations, because every day situations keep changing for us, right? Today we may be happy, tomorrow we may be in a complicated situation, etc. So it keeps changing. So it also teaches, Bhagavad Gita also teaches how to remain balanced in those changing situations. So when we say Bhagavad Gita is a manual for life, we simply mean this: if you want to live well, it makes sense to learn from the one who designed the life. Who has designed the life? Krishna has designed the life. So all of us are experts in living, but still we struggle a lot, right? We know what to do, but we may not know why to do. Sometimes we have a lot of confusions. So for that reason, we need to understand the two types of knowledge that we should understand. One is material knowledge, another is spiritual knowledge. So let me ask you a very simple question. All of us want happiness. Do you want happiness or not? You don't want happiness? Okay, so I assume that you all want happiness. So now the real question is, why does happiness not stay? So we may be happy temporarily, but we will not be happy forever, right? Today we may be happy, for 1 month we may be happy, but difficulties will keep coming for anybody in this world. So according to Bhagavad Gita, there are two branches of knowledge. One is material knowledge, which teaches us, usually material knowledge we gain it by going to schools, by learning from parents, by learning from neighbors, from learning from the society, etc. But what exactly it teaches? Material knowledge teaches how to earn money, how to build constructions, and how to manage, and how to improve comforts of life, etc. Right? Bhagavad Gita never rejects material knowledge, so it's not something that you should stop learning. You should keep learning material knowledge, but Krishna never tells Arjuna, resign your job and go to forest and give up all your comforts. He's not saying that. But material knowledge has a limitation. It can improve facilities, but it cannot guarantee peace, and also happiness. So you get a better job, but pressure increases. And you buy a bigger house, maintenance increases, and you get a more powerful role, you get some power out of a role. You will be more responsible, and expectations increases, right? So this doesn't mean success is bad, it means something is missing there. So even though you're happy with a better job, pressure increases. Even though you're happy with a bigger house, maintenance increases. Even though you are happy with the power that you have, expectations increases. So something is missing there, so you're not getting the ultimate happiness. So what is missing is the spiritual knowledge. So spiritual knowledge, it answers deeper questions, like who am I, why am I dissatisfied even when things go well, and why do I fear loss, rejection, and death. For example, if you take a lot of celebrities, they undergo they undergo depression. So why do they undergo depression? Because they have loss of fear, the fear of loss and fear of rejection and fear of death. There may be several other things, right? So that's the reason why they are not happy, even though they have everything to be happy. So Bhagavad Gita begins with a revolutionary truth, which is you are not the body, you are the soul. Just like you use the car, but you know you are not the car, right? But you but that if the driver forgets that he is the driver and he thinks he I am the car, accidents will be guaranteed, right? Similarly, when the soul forgets its identity, life becomes confusing. So we need to ask ourselves, have I ever genuinely thought about who am I beyond my name, job, role, certain designation, etc.? So you don't need to answer, but you just think about it. So did you ever think that who am I? Am I the body or am I the soul? How am I connected with the God, etc.? These are the questions everybody should get, so that we will be able to differentiate what is material knowledge and what is spiritual knowledge. So this is an introduction for material and spiritual knowledge. So now let's talk about Bhagavad Gita through the ages. Why is it still working? So Bhagavad Gita was spoken more than 5,000 years ago. So I think you all must be knowing it is spoken 5,000 years ago by Krishna himself to Arjuna, and later on, it has been read by many people. So people often ask, how can an ancient book help modern life? So this is an ancient book, Bhagavad Gita, and it is told 5,000 years ago. How is it relevant for me in this modern life? So this may be a question for everybody, but let us be honest. So if the fear did not change, the attachment did not change, anxiety did not change. So earlier people feared with different reasons, feared wars, but today's people fear performance reviews, layoffs, health reports, relationship problems, etc. And the problem is external, the problem is internal, the problem is not external, it is a kind of internal misidentification, because we identify ourselves as body. So the problem is occurring. So that is why Bhagavad Gita is timeless. It doesn't deal with fashion or trends, it deals with consciousness. So that's the reason why it worked then, and it is also working now. So the title in this slide says Bhagavad Gita through the ages and civilizations, and here it focuses on then also how Bhagavad Gita was seen and approached earlier. So earlier ages, Bhagavad Gita was understood as a sacred worshipable knowledge by everybody, including Kshatriyas who are kings, and they also had read Bhagavad Gita and suggested or encouraged their people to read Bhagavad Gita. So we need to understand this clearly. So earlier generations did not approach Bhagavad Gita casually. They did not read it as a book of quotations, shlokas, etc. They did not read it as an optional philosophy. They understood one simple truth. So, when the creator of the universe speaks, his words are sacred. So, Bhagavad Gita is not man made knowledge, it is spoken directly by Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is why the Gita was never seen as just information in earlier days, it was seen as a revelation from the God. So, that's how sacred they felt in olden days. And why was it worshipable? Now, someone may ask, why worship a book? Because Bhagavad Gita is not ordinary literature. It is Krishna in the form of sound. Srila Prabhupada explains that Krishna is present in three ways. His deity form, when we go to temple, he is present in deity form. And when we chant the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he is also there in his holy name. and he is also there in his instructions through Bhagavad Gita. So that's what Srila Prabhupada used to say. So when people worshipped Bhagavad Gita, they were actually respecting Krishna's direct guidance, Krishna's instructions. So that is why you see in this image disciples sitting attentively, and teachers speaking Bhagavad Gita with reverence. And if you look at the atmosphere, is kind of showing the humility and seriousness of hearing Bhagavad Gita. So people come to Bhagavad Gita not to debate, but to receive direction for life. So it is not an entertainment in earlier days. When people faced confusion, when people faced dilemmas, and if there are any social conflicts and personal crises, they approached Bhagavad Gita for solutions, because they have solution. All the solutions are there in Bhagavad Gita. And nowadays, what we do, we kind of um, find out the quick fixes instead of going to the root of the solutions. We kind of do workarounds, right? So but not the root of the solutions. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita addresses the root cause of all problems. We are not approaching Bhagavad Gita, so we are kind of going with workarounds. And when you go with workaround, the problem keeps arising again and again. But when you approach Bhagavad Gita, it gives you the root cause, and when you understand the root cause, then you will not be facing that problem again, right? So what is the root cause? Forgetfulness of our relationship with Krishna. That is the root cause, as Srila Prabhupada says. All problems of material existence are due to the ignorance of the soul, because we also misidentify, we do not understand the connection with God. So that was one of the reasons we keep suffering. So Bhagavad Gita brings that all forgotten knowledge back. And in earlier civilizations, leaders also were guided by Gita principles, and householders studied Gita for guidance, and teachers also taught Gita as life wisdom. Even in schools, Gurukulas, Bhagavad Gita was taught extensively in earlier days, because they know if life is lived without spiritual knowledge, society will become confused, right? And there will be a lot of conflicts, and they will not be living the way they have to live, right? So that is one of the reasons Bhagavad Gita was treated as a sacred scripture, and the life's manual during the earlier days. And it was also preserved so carefully and passed through parampara, disciplic succession. So it means a guru will pass on to the student, and that student eventually becomes a guru, and he passes on to his students, etc. So when you chase back to the beginning, it will be Krishna. Krishna is passing on to Brahma. Brahma is passing on to, so like that, right? Brahma is acting as a guru and passing that information to Narada. Narada is passing to his disciple, etc. So when you chase back, your guru should be connecting to Krishna. So that is called as disciplic succession. So when you go understand Bhagavad Gita through that disciplic succession, you will not be confused. You will get the knowledge as it is told by Krishna. And they will not change anything. They'll not interpret according to their convenience, and they will not add their opinions. It is taught, it is told as it is told by Krishna. So that's why disciplic succession, Guru Parampara, is very much important when we are reading Bhagavad Gita. So the key takeaway here is Bhagavad Gita was never meant to be a book we read only when we are free. It was meant to be the foundation of life, and when we approach it the way earlier generations did, right, with sincerity and openness, it still has the same power to guide, protect, and also transform us from material thinking to spiritual thinking. But why this knowledge was lost? So Krishna himself is saying in Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Yogo Nashta Parantapa. So this knowledge was lost. So how does this knowledge get lost? When we start adjusting truth to comfort. So when Krishna is removed from the center, when devotion is replaced with speculation, so that's when this knowledge will be lost. Prabhupada did not manufacture a new philosophy. He simply presented Krishna's message as it is unchanged. So now Krishna himself explains what happened later. Krishna says, Sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. So he says to Arjuna, Arjuna, in due course, in course of time, this science was lost. The science of Bhagavad Gita was lost. This is Krishna himself saying the understanding of this yoga was lost. So the question naturally comes, why did it get lost? So why does yoga nashta really mean? Yoga nashta does not mean the book disappeared. It means the knowledge has not disappeared. The Bhagavad Gita text still existed. What was lost was the correct understanding. The words remained, but the purpose, the spirit, and the Krishna centered conclusions were lost. So speculations were added, interpretations were added, opinions were added. So that's the reason why the knowledge was lost. It's not the book or the text itself was not lost. So why did this happen? Krishna explains that over time parampara was broken. So when the parampara is not connected to Krishna, the disciplic succession will not be properly followed. So people started interpreting instead of hearing. Instead of asking what does Krishna say, people started asking what do I think Krishna should say. So that's how it is interpreted. So Krishna was removed from the center. Gita was taught as philosophy, and it is taught as ethics, psychology, but there is no surrenderance to Krishna. That's how it was manipulated, and there are a lot of versions of Gita nowadays in the market. So Gita became intellectual entertainment. So some people use it for debating, and some people use it for scholarship, livelihood, and they don't have that transformation. They don't live the Gita. They just talk about it and they debate as a scholarship and things like that. So this is exactly how the knowledge is lost. So we already discussed about manual. Whenever we buy a complex machine, we depend on the manual, right? So life is far more complex. So Krishna is the creator, the body is the machine, the soul is the user. So if you look at it, ignoring the manual leads to misuse of the machine of the machine. The machine is the body that we thought, right? So if we ignore the manual, we will tend to misuse our body, misuse our life. That's what it means. So Bhagavad Gita teaches how to work without attachment, how to face success and failure equally. So that's an important thing, right? Not every one of us will be able to take success and failure equally. So Bhagavad Gita teaches how to face success and failure equally, how to remain peaceful when situations are not favorable. So these are the main three things that we can learn from Bhagavad Gita: how to work without attachment, how to face success and failure equally, and how to remain peaceful when situations are not favorable. So these are the three things that we should remember. Now let us understand why it is described as every common man's user manual. So when we hear the word manual, what comes to your mind? A manual is something given by the creator of the product, right? Not by the random user. So if somebody has created a product and somebody else will not give the manual. So who has designed, who has created that product, that person only will be able to let us know how to use it by giving a manual. So Bhagavad Gita is exactly that, a user manual given by the one and only creator of one and only universal system is Sri Krishna himself. So Krishna also created the laws of nature, and he also created the karma and every time everything, right? So when Krishna speaks, it is not an advice, it is an instruction that is given through Bhagavad Gita as a manual for us to lead the life well. So why is this manual so important? So Bhagavad Gita deals with topics that are critical for proper survival, but they are never properly understood. So think about it. We are taught how to earn, the like we discussed about the material knowledge, how to earn, how to compete, how to succeed, etc. But we are never taught in schools or in families how to deal with failure and how to handle loss, how to face death. So these are the topics that we never hear anywhere in the schools, anywhere in our discussions or in tuitions, tutorials, anywhere colleges. We don't hear all of this. So how to remain peaceful when things don't go our way. All these things will not be taught. So Bhagavad Gita addresses exactly these core issues. So these are the problems for human lives, and these are the topics that will be discussed in Bhagavad Gita. That's why Srila Prabhupada said Bhagavad Gita is not optional knowledge. It is important and essential knowledge for any age and for everybody. So Bhagavad Gita is described as the science of eternal knowledge. Usually science means what? Science means it will be systematic, it will be logical, it will be applicable. So, but eternal means what? Eternal is beyond time, beyond body, and beyond temporary situations. So, that is spiritual science. And material science talks about systematic things, logical things, and practical things, right? But spiritual knowledge talks about what is beyond time, what is beyond body, what is beyond temporary situations. So, Gita teaches us that we are not temporary bodies, we are eternal souls. That means we are beyond time, we are beyond body, beyond temporary situations. That we need to understand well. And unless we understand this, no amount of material adjustment can make us permanently happy. We might feel little bit of comfort temporarily, happiness temporarily, but it is not a permanent joy, permanent happiness. So this manual has full of mystical life-saving formulas. It doesn't mean magic, but it means deep spiritual principles. It saves us from anxiety, confusion, depression, and also repeated sufferings. For example, acting without selfish attachment, remembering Krishna in all situations, understanding karma and responsibility well. And these principles save our life from inner disturbances. So, Bhagavad Gita is also filled with clues about habits, how a person should think, how a person should act, how a person should eat, uh, whom should they associate with, and how to discipline the mind, how to control the mind, everything else, right? So, that is why great leaders, great thinkers, and reformers respected Bhagavad Gita even in this age of Kali. Many great leaders, many great reformers respected Bhagavad Gita because it teaches how to lead life, not just how to lead people. So that's the reason why it is Gita is followed in IIMs as well, in management institutes as well. So it gives us Bhagavad Gita takes us from darkness to light, and from pain to joy, and from misery to happiness. So these are the things that we learn from Bhagavad Gita. So now let us understand why Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita on a battlefield. This is very important question, right? And once we understand this, we understand the practical nature of what Gita is offering us. Krishna could have spoken Bhagavad Gita in a temple. He could have spoken in a forest, in a peaceful ashram, or the banks of a river, etc. But he did not do that. He chose a battlefield. Why? Because life does not pause until everything becomes peaceful, right? So real problems don't come when life is quiet and settled. So they come when responsibilities are at their peak. So think about it. Stress doesn't come when you are free. It comes when you have deadlines. And confusion doesn't come when nothing is at stake. It comes when decisions matter, right? So emotional breakdowns also don't come in isolation. They come when family, career, health, expectations all come together. So that is exactly where Arjuna was standing. Arjuna was not an ordinary person. He was extremely skilled archer, and he was very much responsible, and he was morally upright. He was a devotee of Krishna, and he was not at all lazy or confused by nature. But at the most crucial moment of his life, he collapsed emotionally. So he was feeling overwhelmed. He was confused. He doesn't want to fight with his relatives, and his hands trembled, and his mind became confused, and he could not decide what was right and what was wrong. Even though he's a scholar, he was a righteous person. He has all the skills that he needs, but at the moment that he has to fight with his own relatives, he could not decide what was right and what was wrong. And this is very important to understand. Arjuna's problem was not lack of ability. He has all kinds of abilities, but it was just the lack of clarity. In that moment, Krishna did something very significant. He did not say, don't fight. He did not say, run away and meditate. He did not say, everything will be okay, just relax. But Krishna did not remove Arjuna from his responsibility. See, he did not ask him to leave from that place. Instead, Krishna removed Arjuna's ignorance about who he really was. Krishna corrected Arjuna's understanding, not his situation. So that is why Bhagavad Gita is so practical. So it does not teach us how to escape from life's battles. It teaches us how to face them with proper knowledge and consciousness. So in other words, Krishna teaches us this powerful principle, right? When consciousness is corrected, action becomes correct. So that's why consciousness is very much important. Bhagavad Gita is spoken on a battlefield because it is meant to guide us in the middle of life, not away from it. So that's why we are also in the middle of material lives, and we also have problems. We also have issues, concerns, etc. So we need to understand that the Bhagavad Gita is also relevant, extremely relevant for us. So that's why it is called as a manual. So this is the main five core topics of Bhagavad Gita that we need to understand. So the five core topics are Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma. So we can easily remember with 3J, 2K, Jiva, Jagat, Jagadish, Kala, and Karma. So these are the five topics that we can remember. The acronym that you can easily remember is 3J2K. Ishvara is Krishna himself, the supreme controller. Jiva is the living being, and Prakriti is the material nature, and Kala is the time. Karma is action and reaction. So understanding these five brings clarity to life. So Bhagavad Gita is not like a commandment that is like Akashavani is coming from the sky, right? It is a loving advice spoken by Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he spoke this to his dear devotee and through Arjuna to all of us. So he wanted to instruct all of us through Arjuna. So that itself changes how we should approach this book, right? It is not meant to frighten us. It is meant to guide us like a caring father guiding a confused child. So there is no topic that is not covered by the Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada explains that Bhagavad Gita clearly deals with five fundamental topics. These are the five. And once we understand these five, life itself starts making sense for us. So let us go a little bit more deep dive about these five topics. The first topic is the soul, Jiva. So Bhagavad Gita begins by teaching us the most basic truth. We are not this body. We are spirit souls. The body changes, right, from childhood to youth to old age, but the soul remains the same. There is no change for the soul. So most of our problems begin because we identify ourselves only with the body. So we feel like this is my body, this is my position, this is my house, my wife, my children, etc. This is my success, my failure, etc. But Gita corrects this misunderstanding. So because we are not the body, we are the soul. So that is what Jiva means. The second topic is God. God is the creator and also the controller. He's known as Ishvara. Jagadish, Ishvara, everything is same. So Krishna clearly establishes himself as the creator, controller, and maintainer. So he is he creates, he controls, he maintains, and he destroys the universes. He is not one among many gods. He is the God of all gods. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. So this understanding brings us clarity. We are not the center of the universe. Krishna is the center. And when we accept this, life becomes lighter. So understanding God is something that we can learn from Bhagavad Gita. And what is the connection between Jiva and God? That also we will be able to understand through Bhagavad Gita. So the third topic is creation and the laws of governing that creation, which is called Prakriti. So nothing in this world is accidental, right? Nature works under Krishna's supervision. Just like government works under laws, the universe also functions under divine laws that Krishna has created. So birth, growth, maintenance, destruction, everything follows its order, right? So it is not something which happened accidentally. So Krishna is the source of Prakriti. Understanding this removes unnecessary confusion. So we will have a lot of confusions cleared when we read Bhagavad Gita. The fourth topic is time, Kala. Krishna says very powerfully, so time I am, and through time I destroy. So time is Krishna's energy. So no one can stop time. So youth becomes old, success fades one day, and life moves towards death. One day everybody has to die, right? So this is not meant to depress us. It is meant to make us serious and intelligent. So time reminds us do not waste this human life. So this human life is meant for God consciousness to understand God and go back to Godhead, go back to our eternal home. This knowledge is given in Bhagavad Gita as well. The fifth topic is action and reaction, karma. Every action has a reaction. Even in material world, every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? The same applies in spiritual world also, spiritual life also. Every action has a reaction. Nothing is random. Why do different people face different situations? So did you ever thought about it? It is because of the karma only, the karma that the past actions that they have done. So it is because of that they're suffering, because of that they're happy, because of that they undergo certain situations. So it is law of karma. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to act responsibly, and how to act without selfish attachment, and how to act in a way that frees us instead of binding us. So karma usually binds us. For if you do good karma, you will have a good account, so that it's like a bank bank account, bank balance. Your good, if you do good activities, your good karma increases. If you do bad activities, your karma increases. And you have to take birth again and again to enjoy good karma, to suffer bad karma. So that is how it is. So this is practical. And why these five topics matter. These five topics explain who am I, and who is God, and where we are living, why time is chasing us, and why we experience happiness and distress based upon why we have different situations. So these five topics explain all these things clearly. So that is why there is no topic in life that Bhagavad Gita does not cover. It's family, work, emotions, fear, duty, death, purpose, everything fits within these five truths, right? So these five topics are very much important. So, how to accept the Gita and take advantage exactly like Arjuna. So, how should we approach the Bhagavad Gita? In a way that it actually helps us, just like it helped Arjuna. So, Arjuna did not benefit from the Gita because he was intelligent, heroic, or knowledgeable. He benefited because of how he accepted Krishna's words. So intelligence is not required, heroism is not required, and prior knowledge is not required to understand Bhagavad Gita. So we can clearly understand from Arjuna's example, he did not benefit from the Gita because he was intelligent, because he was heroic, because he was knowledgeable. He benefited because of how he accepted Krishna's instructions. So let us understand this step by step. For example, if you take so if you have a parrot and you bought a cage for the parrot, and you bought a golden cage, and you put the parrot inside the golden cage, and you're not giving food to the parrot, and you are taking care of the cage very well, because it is a golden cage and you are cleaning it properly and you are maintaining it very well. So this is very simple analogy, right? The bird represents the soul, atma, and the cage represents the body and material life. So most of the time we spend all our energy decorating the cage, decorating the body, taking care of the body, protecting the body, etc. But we forget the bird inside. We forget the Atma inside. So we don't take care of Atma well. So what is the food for soul? Devotion is the food for soul. We don't even consider that. We kind of provide good food, good clothes, good career to the body only. So that is all fine, but we still have anxiety, fear, emptiness, everything is there, right? So why is it so? Because we don't take care of the soul well. So the helps us understand you are not the cage, you are the bird. That means you are not the body, you are the soul. So Arjuna's confusion was not just about war, it was about identity. So once Krishna explained the soul concept, clarity began for Arjuna. So to accept the Greek Gita properly, we also must be ready to hear truth about ourselves, like who we are, and it's not the external solutions, right? Like we are not the body and we are the soul. However, we connected to God, etc. We should understand all these things. And we can also take another example like saving the shirt of a drowning man. So imagine a man is drowning in a river. If we see he's wearing an expensive shirt, maybe worth 2 lakh rupees. And if we save only his shirt, but not the man, have we really helped him? What do you think? So
No,
because
Mata.
no, right? Because he's wearing a 2 lakhs expensive shirt, I will save the shirt. So we will not think like that, right? Because similarly, many a times we approach the Gita only to fix relationships, reduce stress, improve performance, etc. But these are like saving the shirt. The Gita real purpose is to save the soul from repeated suffering and ignorance and forgetfulness of Krishna. So we should save the soul, not the shirt. We should save the drowning man, not the shirt. We should understand. But to understand Gita, we should also go to a tested, trusted, and tried guru. We talked about the disciplic succession, Guru Parampara, right? This is very important. Arjuna accepted Krishna as his guru. Similarly, we must hear the Gita through Parampara system. If you go back and trace back, it should be Krishna who has given that instruction. So knowledge flows from Krishna to the disciplic succession. We should ensure that we are going to a guru who are in the disciplic succession, and the knowledge is coming directly from Krishna if you trace back the parampara. So not from the speculation or personal interpretation. And we need to understand who is the genuine guru and who does not invent meanings, who does not speculate, who does not change the instructions given by the god. So whoever repeats Krishna's message faithfully, as it is, without any speculation, without any interpretation, we should find out that kind of guru in a disciplic succession. This will protect us from confusion. So we should understand Gita is not for old age. Gita does not reject action. So you should do whatever you are doing as your duty, and you can do it at any age. It's not meant for only old age. And it also teaches us how do we live purposefully. How, because what is the use of human life? Why we were given human life? What is the purpose of human life? So these are the questions, but we will get answers in Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna says, I am your friend and well wisher. So he says, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. Krishna says he's a well-wishing friend for all. So this phrase, this is coming from Bhagavad Gita 5.29, fifth chapter and 29th shloka, where Krishna says that one who understands him as the supreme enjoyer, he says, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gnatva mam shanti mrichyati. That means he says, I am the supreme enjoyer, I am the supreme proprietor, and the well wishing friend of all living beings. Suhrutam Sarvabhutana means he is the well wishing friend of all living beings. So, whoever understands this will attain real peace. So, he has given peace formula in 5.29. So, now let us focus on this. This thing, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. So Krishna is he is selfless well wisher of every living being. So Suhrad means it's not an ordinary friend that we have, right? An ordinary friend, what does he do? He or she helps us sometimes, and he expects something in return, and may leave when situations change. So we cannot guarantee that he will stay throughout the life or even after the life, right? But Krishna is not that kind of friend. Srila Prabhupada says Krishna is the friend who wants our real eternal welfare, not just temporary comfort. Even when Krishna gives us difficult situations, his intention is always our ultimate good. That we need to understand well. So Krishna says Sarvabhutanam of living beings, not just devotees. Not he means Sarvabhutanam means he means humans, animals, birds, insects, even the demoniac people who doesn't believe in Krishna. So Krishna also takes care of them. He is also a well-wisher for them. Krishna does not discriminate. If someone suffers, Krishna is concerned. If someone enjoys, Krishna allows them through karma. And if someone turns toward him, Krishna responds immediately. So why we don't always feel Krishna as a friend? So now it's a natural question arises, right? If Krishna is my well-wisher, why am I suffering? So I should be happy if my Krishna is my well-wisher. So do you all get that question? You get it or not?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, right. So Krishna never interferes with our free will. Just like a loving parent, for example, take your father or mother. They advise you and they warn you, and but still they allow you to learn, right? So they allow the child to learn. Similarly, Krishna accompanies us as the Paramatma in the heart. He guides us and he witnesses what we are doing, and he waits patiently for us to come back to him. So suffering comes not because Krishna, it's not because of Krishna, but because we ignore his guidance and we don't act according to his instruction. We act independently. That's why suffering comes. So we can take one small example. A father tells his son, "Don't touch the fire." If the child still touches the fire and gets burned, is this the father problem? Father is the enemy, or child himself has done it?
Child himself, Mataji.
Child himself, right? So the same way, the father remains the well-wisher. Even when the child suffers, father did not want him to suffer. He warned him, but he did not listen. That's why he is suffering. Similarly, Krishna gives instructions through Bhagavad Gita. If we ignore them, and suffering comes. But Krishna still remains our well-wisher, still remains our friend. We need to understand what he is saying. If you read Bhagavad Gita, you will be able to understand what Krishna is asking us to do, and how do we lead the life, and how do we come out of this material suffering and go back to our eternal home, spiritual world. And Even we can also take this doctor and patient example, right? Doctor may say you have to restrict this kind of food, and he will prescribe some bitter medicines, and he also tells you to advise rest and take rest and be well, etc. But the patient may feel uncomfortable, but the doctor is still the well wisher. Patient may not be able to control the cravings. He will eat whatever he wants, and he gets diabetes, and he has to take insulin, etc. So that is not a doctor's problem. Doctor is still the well wisher. So that same way Krishna sometimes uh, gives us gives us the independence, but he is still with us as a well wisher. He kind of accompanies us, witnesses what we do. He guides us from within, and he also has given us this Bhagavad Gita to understand how do we lead our life. And we also, so Krishna is also stays with us as a Paramatma in our heart, everyone's heart. So not only human beings, but in all the species. And he supports us, and he wants us to choose devotion, and he wants us to come back home. So our home is not material world; it is a spiritual world, and we kind of came back out of home, like the son goes out of the home, and he abandons father, right? So that's how we kind of left Krishna and came to the material world, thinking that we will enjoy. The same way, the youthful son will think about, okay, I don't want to stay with my parents. I will go elsewhere and stay happily. And in turn, at the end, they will also realize that happiness is not here. Happiness is staying home. So the same way, we will also be learning why we are suffering and how to end the suffering by reading Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna never abandons us. That is the meaning of Suhridam Sarvabhutana. Um So, how do we make our relationship with Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita, active and relevant? So, is we can continue learning those five topics in detail in the five classes coming up. So, stay tuned, and we will discuss in more detail about those five topics. And we will not be able to cover entire Bhagavad Gita in 7 days, but we will try to cover as much as possible in high level, so that you have a brief understanding about it, and you will be able to read more deeper and listen the advanced classes also. So that is about the introduction today. So let me know if you have any questions. So maybe you can also talk about your understanding or any inputs, comments about the class. This also will help us in fine tuning further sessions. Is the space okay, or is there anything else that you want to learn apart from the five topics, etc.? Let us know. We will continue. We will kind of bring it up in further sessions.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
The class was so nice, Mataji. Actually, I attended the Bhagavad Gita classes, so I get the clarity, Mataji. Thank you for more clarity.
Hari Bol Mataji. Thank you so much. Okay, anyone else has any inputs, questions, comments? All right. If no questions, we will see you tomorrow, and there will be a quiz at the end of maybe after maybe evening or tonight or tomorrow. So we will publish the quiz in the WhatsApp group. So you can answer those quizzes and test your understanding. If you have any questions, we can discuss in tomorrow's session. Thank you so much. Grandraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And the Kota Vaishnavanda ki jai. Vansha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.